we can see.
I hope you can see my presentation now.
Yes, and then for some reason your GoToWebinar panel is viewable, which is odd. But if you want to move that over.
Should be now okay now, yeah?
Just waiting for the screen to refresh if it does.
Looks good to me. Oh.
And now it's back onto the presenter view of your PowerPoint for me. There you go.
I'm not going to touch it again, except for right and left buttons.
Right, I see it fine. There's just a little window on the right, but that's fine.
So we've got 272 attendees right now. So if everybody who is attending right now went and donated, we would be a lot closer to our goal. So please consider donating.
All right, so I think we just a couple of minutes before your start time. So if you want to get started, go ahead.
That's cool. I hope you can hear me all right. And thank you, Akshay. And a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. That's the beauty of this conference. Is happening all over the globe and in different time zones. So welcome to this session, and thanks for joining. My name is Saurabh, and I'll introduce myself as I go along. So first of all, the important thing, that's what we need to talk about. And in these unprecedented times, you can help make a difference by donating. And I can see there are a lot of people have joined this one. So I sincerely request you to donate to the World Health Organization Solidarity Fund. And donation will support the WHO's work to ensure the patients get the right care, frontline workers get the essential supplies. So guys, make sure you donate, whatever you can. Moving on, like Akshay mentioned, and those who are joining us for the first time, there is a breakout room, chill out lounge that have been created for you. Please don't share this slide or the password to the break room on social media because because of the obvious concern about the Zoom bombing or trolls. So let's get this started. So first of all, let me introduce myself. So my name is Saurabh Sachdeva, and I recently founded a company called SUGCON, which is kind of focused on commerce. I've been working in the industry, software industry, for 14 plus years now, and working. Previously I was working as a Sitecore professional services lead in the UK, and I've been working with Sitecore Commerce since 2016, which was version 8.2 or 8.1. I don't even remember the version now. They're outdated. So before I get onto the agenda, what I wanted to talk about is like Sitecore Commerce, also known as.
Sorry, Saurabh. Are you on a different slide? We still see your title slide.
Okay. Sorry. Can you see it okay now? It's my introduction slide.
It's on the first slide. For me, it has not changed from there.
Let me do that again.
Sure. I can take back the presenter mode and give it back to you if that helps. You're frozen for us right now, the webcam as well as the presentation.
Yeah, it looks like maybe it's his internet.
Maybe let me just pull it back to me for now. And then once he comes on, all right, looks like you're stuck with us for now. Looks like Saurabh is having some difficulty, so he's trying to re-log in to the conference.
We're at the dance.
Yeah, a question has been asked: how many Sitecore developers does it take to share a screen? I don't know. 4? 42?
Unlimited?
Unlimited? All right, so let me give you back the presenter again.
I hope I should be able to do it now.
If you're having speed issues, maybe you can turn off your webcam and just present your screen if you
It's
want.
not the speed, actually. I don't know what's happening. But can you see the introduction slide now?
Yes, it's on your picture right now. Yeah.
Okay, and then agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me get this started again. I'll take one more minute and then we can. So yeah. So what I was saying is, first of all, is like, in this times of COVID-19, we have tied up with the WHO Solidarity Response Fund, and we asked you to kind of donate generously to this fund, and all the donations will go to the WHO's effort to kind of get the patient's care, the care they need, and the essential supplies for the frontline workers. So that's the important thing as of now. And as I was saying, if you're joining us for the first time, there's a breakout room or a chill out lounge that has been created for you. Here's the link for that with the password, but please don't share this slide with anyone else because of the Zoom bombing or the trolls getting into it. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Saurabh Sachdeva, and I'm the founder of Assurix with 14 plus years of experience in software industry, working on Sitecore Commerce since 2016, and previously been leading the Sitecore professional services in the UK. So I've got extensive experience in Sitecore Commerce, and today we are going to talk about some advanced features of Sitecore Commerce. I'm sure you must have seen a lot of marketing features. We talk about content and commerce in context and everything. So what we're going to look at is how these things happen under the hood. So this is going to be the advanced topic, and we're going to talk about a lot of configurations, a lot of stuff that that is not very viewable, but it's a code stuff. So let me start by saying this. Sitecore Commerce, also known as Experience Commerce, brings together the best of Sitecore XP, which is like digital marketing features of Sitecore XP, along with the extensible commerce functionality. So on one hand, you've got extensive features of Sitecore XP, which is Sitecore being famous for those features. And since last, I think 2 decades, it's been there and it's been kind of grown very extensively. And when you add it to the commerce features that is required by the client, it brings up a unique product. And I believe no other platform across the globe offers this kind of combination which puts content and commerce in context. So that's the idea behind it. So but do we know how does the magic happens under the hood? And in this session, we are going to look into every nut and bolt and how everything is tied together and how data flows from Sitecore Commerce Experience Accelerator to the backend, which is like Commerce Engine, and how the reports are getting generated, how the events, etc., are getting tracked. But I'm not going to talk about the goal has been triggered or something like that. But I'm going to talk about the underlying framework, how does happen. So, and one of the reasons I chose this topic is because I've been doing commerce, and I've been kind of working with Sitecore partners, working with clients. And one of the things that we have seen is not having enough understanding of this is kind of problematic, and people are facing troubles because of that. And I've seen like a lot of implementation going wrong because people haven't followed this kind of model. And that's why I thought it would be good to talk about this, and maybe you can dwell upon it and ask the questions, and if you need to reach out to me after the conference as well. So yeah, before we begin, there's a question box on the Zoom window as well. So if you want to ask the question, start typing in there as we go along, and we will answer the questions at the end. So what are we going to cover? Basically, I kind of slightly outlined what we're going to cover. First one is, we're going to talk about Sitecore Commerce marketing feature, what Sitecore is good at, and how these marketing features are being enabled is using Sitecore Commerce Connect. So Commerce Connect, we're going to give you an overview of Commerce Connect, what it is, and how it enables those things. Then we're going to look slightly under the hood about how the analytics data is being captured, how the Commerce Connect integration works. If you're looking at, like, for example, integrating Sitecore with any other commerce platform, that's a point to look for, and I'm going to give you the details what is happening under the. And then I'm going to talk about marketing automation and reporting. Again, not the front end part, but the underlying feature and how you can extend all those areas if you need to. Question answers, like I said, put your questions in the box, and we'll try to answer all of those towards the end of this session. So let's get started without further ado. So uh, first is like marketing features in Sitecore Commerce. So why should I use Sitecore Commerce? Because there are so many other platforms in across the globe, in the world, which can provide me the commerce experiences. Why Sitecore Commerce is important? First is, like, if you want to create some engaging experiences on your website. So if you want to create, track customer interaction, how they're interacting with the front end storefront. So I'm sure most of us who haven't worked on commerce must be aware of all the Sitecore features, the engaging features that Sitecore offers as a platform, XP as a platform. But if we bring those features into Sitecore Commerce, that's the unique proposition. That's where we say, yeah, you should go for Sitecore Commerce rather than any other commerce platform. So it brings up best of Sitecore XP into commerce. It tracks all most of the visits, behaviors, transactions in the XDB, and I'm sure you're all familiar with how that works. But we are going to go into the details of the commerce in this aspect. And there are 80 plus analytics reports that have been provided out of box. And as I will show you today, you can always extend those reports and add more stuff for your own implementations. And one of the beautiful thing is, like, it has got built-in marketing automation. In the initial version there were very limiting things that you can do. There was only one engagement plan, but Sitecore has been kind of constantly improving on that, and there are a few more that have been added in version up to version 9.3. So that's a complete package which people are going to get once they are going to install Sitecore Commerce. Another thing, like, one of the challenges that we face is, like, if you're not going to implement this right, this is not going to happen. Calling commerce API. I'll talk about all these things as we go along. So let's get into the core framework. Core framework is like Sitecore Commerce Connect. So I will, there's a lot of confusing terminology that has been kind of used, and I have to use that terminology because just to keep it closer to the product. So it's an integration layer between a storefront and external commerce system. So this is an external commerce system, and external commerce system integrating, storefront is where the people are going to look at your products and everything, and a commerce system, it can be any commerce system. So I'm kind of generalizing here, but most of the things are relevant for Sitecore Commerce. So you can have like a backend system, any other commerce system. But for example, in my previous project, I have done integration with Hybris, and it behaves in the same way, and that's the beauty of the platform. If you're following the framework correctly, you are going to see that any other commerce system or Sitecore Commerce is going to work as good as like any other competition. So this framework include the Commerce Connect core, and this is important. So this is the abstraction layer which provides all the interfaces of the commerce services. So if you're going to skip this layer, for example, Sitecore provides an upgrade later on, they add more services, more features, more interfaces later on, you're going to lose out on the benefit. And this is this is where all the magic happen in this framework. And it tracks the marketing activity, and that's what was telling. So Sitecore Commerce, the unique selling point of it is like putting content and commerce together and track marketing event behavior, etc., on the front end website for the and if you have to do it, if you don't do it right, you're going to lose all these benefits. And that's why this framework is really important. Then you have got Commerce Connect connectors. So the connectors are the real implementations of the core. So concrete implementation. So when you say Sitecore Commerce Engine Connect, that is an implementation of Sitecore Commerce Connect. So take it as Commerce Connect core as an interface in the .NET programming language, and and Commerce Engine Connect is the implementation of that interface. So that's how it works. That relationship is really important here. So it integrates XP with other commerce systems via custom connectors. So you can create a lot of connectors, whatever connectors your client demands, but it can't run as a standalone system. So you have to be you have to have a implementation for it. So you can't run an interface in the .NET without a concurrent implementation, and that's what it is. So, and the Sitecore Commerce Engine Connect is implemented for Sitecore Commerce. So that's the implementation that has been provided to you by Sitecore Commerce, by Sitecore as a company. So Sitecore Commerce is an implementation of Sitecore Commerce Connect. And so again, terminology, there's a slight difference. So there's Sitecore Commerce Connect, and then you add Engine Connect. Engine Connect is Sitecore Commerce. So that's a difference here. And then it handles all the reports, etc. And reports, there's no rocket science about the report, because once you're tracking the data correctly, the reports are kind of consequence of that. Okay, so moving on further. So why it is important? So first of all, it offers a single point of entry. So it gives that consistency as well, that people are coming in, and as an implementation partner or for the clients, is kind of giving the common platform to implement a product. So it's kind of, if you follow this architecture, if you follow this framework, your solution is much more upgradable. So let me give you an example. So we were doing a B2B accelerator for Sitecore Commerce, and we created using correct frameworks and created proper plugins. So now we have to deploy, we have to deploy it on the 6 different website on like 2 versions. And it was as simple as kind of updating the DLLs, putting in the right references, and updating minor class names or the namespaces, and it was ready to go into 2 different versions. So that's how easy it was. Most of the engagement features, as I can't emphasize more on that, are built into Connect service layer. So you have to kind of take advantage of that. It abstracts all the commerce services. For example, commerce services, I would say add to cart, get products, all these commerce services are being abstracted in the Commerce Connect. So, and then out of box, Sitecore, when implements Sitecore provided Commerce Engine Connect, Sitecore Commerce Engine Connect, it has used this Commerce Connect connector. So you have to follow this model so as to make your solution designed according to the best practices recommended by Sitecore, and gives the advantage to the clients that they can manage the solution, maintain the solution, upgrades, etc. with ease. So I've seen, and this is based on the practical experience. Last bullet point, I've seen in a lot of reviews, a lot of stuff that has happened with the clients. Most of the people have called the commerce APIs directly, bypassing the connect layer. And what happens is, one of the complaint that comes up, oh, I'm not getting the analytics data for which I've been sold for. So that's a complete no-no. So don't call the commerce APIs directly in any of the implementation. For example, one of the example that comes across to my mind is, like, for example, if you're talking about making a payment, currently there are not many analytics around the payment. But if you don't, if you call the payment provider directly from the front end, no interaction is going going to the backend systems except for the payment tokens, etc. And that's where losing the benefits of Sitecore Commerce Connect. So how does this look like? So this is the diagram that I give the credits to Sitecore for this diagram. So the customer comes into the storefront, and then there's a Commerce Connect framework on in the right in your screen. So sorry. Okay, get this pen. Yeah, I hope you're able to see my screen. Actually, let me know if you're not able to see that screen. So so Commerce Engine. So what happens is customer interacts with the storefront, and Commerce Connect engagement artifacts are the artifacts which are responsible for conditional rendering rules, marketing campaigns, page events, goals, etc. And below that, there's a layer called commerce content abstract service layer, and this is the layer which exposes all the APIs of all the features which have been provided by Sitecore Commerce Connect framework. And then there are other stuff like Commerce Connect product catalogs, product catalog model, which is used to synchronize products, etc., which I'm not going to cover in this session because this is all about marketing feature, not about the product synchronization and integration. So in the concrete implementation, what happens is you go onto the left side of the screen where you see the blue boxes. First of all, the first one is being provided by Sitecore, which is called Sitecore Commerce Engine Connect. And that is the implementation of this framework. So it implements all those commerce, abstract services layer. So abstract services layer functionality has been implemented by Commerce Engine Connect. Similarly, Sitecore also provide connector for Microsoft Dynamics for retail, and that has also implemented all the service layer APIs of the Commerce Connect framework. So, and now if you have to have built up a custom connector, for example, for Hybris, so you will batch, and I'll show you how to do that, APIs into the config files like you do in the normal Sitecore XP. You have to batch so that you can take the benefits of the engagement artifacts that has been there provided by the framework. Sorry, I think
Is everything okay, sir?
I think it's stuck. The screen is frozen. I don't know what happened there.
You could try disabling your video, see if that helps.
I think it's a Guru meeting that got stuck. I can't tell you. Hey guys, can you see my screen? The next screen, data analysis.
It just changed, yes.
Okay, so there are scenarios. For example, if I am going through a Black Friday sale where the traffic is going to be massive, or maybe, out of choice, I don't want to collect the analytics. Even in that case, we won't recommend that you should bypass the Commerce Connect and go directly to the Commerce APIs. So you can disable Xconnect Tracker and XDB, which will result in the increased performance. Interactions will be session only. They will be lost once the front-end session ends. And commerce reports,
Hey, sir, we can't hear you at all now. So if you're on again, try disabling your webcam. Maybe your bandwidth is low. It might help.
actually, can you give me the presenter, right?
Okay. There you go. It's set to you.
Okay, I'm not starting my webcam again. Let's see, what happens. So what I was saying is, what if I don't want to connect the analytics and it may be because of the Black Friday, or I want to increase the performance of the system temporarily, or I decided not to track the analytics. So what you can do is like you can disable the Xconnect tracker and XDB. So your performance, it will result in slightly increased performance. But the disadvantage is, as soon as the front-end session ends, your interactions are lost. And commerce reports and marketing automation, they will not be of any use in that sense, because they will not have names, emails, etc. in there. So, and what happens is like it's a normal way. Once you enable that, if there is any other information that has been there in the session, it will resync back to XDB when you re-enable that after the Black Friday sale, for example. Okay, so now it's about getting under the hood. So I just talk about the theory of it, but let me get into the configuration. What is happening under the hood for this to happen? So what is happening is there's a commerce tracker, which is like abstract, which abstract the tracker to be initialized. And Sitecore out of box provides two trackers. One is like platform tracker provider, which is like when XDB is enabled and Xconnect is available, or a cookie tracker. So when you disable the XDB and the tracker using the XC Commerce Global cookie to kind of track the interaction, and that interaction lost when the cookie is lost. So that's how it tracks under the hood. So let's get into this again. So this is this is the snapshot of the code, and I didn't want to go into the .peek and all those things to show the code there. But what is happening here is your commerce tracker, it checks if the XDB is enabled, and there are ways to do that, and I'm sure that you are aware of how it's being done. And it enables the platform commerce tracker if the XDB is enabled. It's a factory that creates the object for the appropriate instance type. And then there's a cookie tracker. If XDB is not able, the cookie tracker is enabled, and there's a functionality written behind this to kind of make these trackers work in an expected way. So what it does is like it gets the data from the session. If the XDB is enabled, it goes back to the XDB. If XDB is not available, it does a certain processing without saving any data. So now, as I said, like it's a really extensible platform, and one of the things is like, oh, I don't need that marketing feature, or I don't need this. I might need a different tracker implementation. And there might be hundred of scenarios where you want to extend this. So there's a class diagram on the right where it's an interface iCommerce tracker, which has been kind of implemented by both the trackers that have been provided by Sitecore, platform tracker provider and the cookie tracker provider. So if you want to do anything, like if you want to change the behavior of one of the trackers, or add more trackers, or any extensions you want to do, you implement interface iCommerce tracker. Then you go to the commerce, Sitecore commerce.config, and patch these platform tracker provider, cookie tracker provider, and you can have your own commerce, commerce tracker type. And then you implement it in a way so you can change it from here. So the behavior, if you want to change, you can do that. So that's how the tracking under the hood works. And let's get into like Commerce Connect integration, and that will bring us to how these goals, etc., or the marketing automation plans, how they've been set up. I'll follow through on that one. So let's talk about the Commerce Connect integration first, and then we'll get to the other part of it. So like I said, Commerce Connect is used for integration between XP and SC. So it has got two components, Connect core framework, which is again service layer I'm talking about, which tracks the engagement. So that's the core framework. And then we saw the connector hooks, which hooks into the pipeline and integrate to the external commerce systems. For example, the Commerce Engine Connect, as we saw, provided by Sitecore Commerce. So if you're doing any custom implementation or custom integrations with any other external commerce system, or for example, JSS, Sitecore JavaScript Services, and we did that demo in the last SUGCON with one of my colleagues from Sitecore. So if you're doing that, don't forget to follow this architecture. Otherwise, you will have a kind of cool looking website, but you will not have the marketing features for which the Sitecore commerce has been sold to the client. So it's really important. Any custom integration, JSS, ECS, should go through. ECS is external commerce system, just to clarify. Okay, so what it is, like Commerce Connect service layer pipeline, what it is, so what it does is, like, Sitecore provides out-of-box pipelines and the configurations, and I'll show you how they look like. So it executes the necessary processors and pipelines that is required for a particular functionality to work. And then it also, one of the important things, and this is the core of it, it triggers the marketing event. It add or modify, you can add or modify the processes, but don't remove or rename the pipelines. And that's where, if you do that, you're going to break the whole functionality. So like I said, one of the example is Commerce Engine Connect, and I'm going to elaborate on that example in the config files. So now, if you look at this, the screen, the Sitecore Commerce Orders config, this is the config which is the part of the core framework. This is not the part of the engine. This is the part of the core framework. So what you're looking at is, like, I am getting the visitor orders. So that's a pipeline that have been kind of provided by Sitecore out of box, but there's no concrete implementation that has been provided in the core. So any commerce integration that you're looking at, be it with any other common platform, you have to implement this functionality to get visitor order working. And what it does, the most important thing it does is, that's like an abstract class in Sitecore, in .NET world, that you don't have the implementation of some elements, like for example, get visitor orders not been implemented, but you have implementations for the visitor goals to be created. So it is raising a page event, trigger visitor view order details page event. So what we are looking at is, there's an event that has been raised, that user has looked at the order detail page. So that event has been executed in the framework. So that's the core of it. So I might have one more example of it, but if you have any questions around it, please type it now. And this is the really important slide that I want to emphasize on. So you are getting onto the user is getting onto the visitor page. I don't have an implementation in the page functionality, and I am triggering an event. But now Sitecore provided a Commerce Engine connector, which is patching into that config file. So you have got your own config file, which is patching into the base file. So now what you have done is, you've patched a processor, which is before that page event, and the name of the processor is get visitor order. So that's a concrete implementation, and it belongs to the type called Commerce Engine Connect. So that's a concrete implementation. So now if you want to do an hybrid integration, for example, so in this you will do the similar model. So you're not going to change the Sitecore Commerce order config, which is on the top left of your screen, but you're going to patch the Hybris's get visitor order APIs into it. So that's how it works. And because of this, you should be able to retain the page event that is being called from the base class. So that's how this model works. Okay, moving on further. Okay, so that was it for that one. So unless you've got I'm used to the stage one, so okay. So now let's get on to the marketing automation under the hood. So what is, like, you must have seen there are a few sessions in the morning and earlier talking about like marketing automation, and I'm not going to give you the I'm not going to show you the market. We briefly touch upon that, but that's not about the marketing plan, but it's about how this marketing plan works under the hood, and if you have to extend, how will you do that? So let's get into the under the hood functionality of marketing automation. So when you install Sitecore Commerce, or when you create a new storefront, there are two options that you get, which is on the right side of your screens, that you can add campaigns during the site creation, and you can add, or otherwise you can add a Sitecore module afterwards for marketing automation. So there are two those are provided by Sitecore, and which is like Commerce Abandoned Cart and New Order Place. So again, these things are getting added with the different versions. So, we might have a few more. So this include, send commerce activity, email activity. So email that are going, abandoned carts, when you're following up with a customer, everything is kind of included through automation plans. So how does they get created? So they get created using commerce marketing automation template. And you can, you can customize the default template using marketing automation API for the storefront. And we're going to see how. So what happens is, like, I've taken an example of adding, because there are very limited examples, because of the limited number of marketing automation plan currently available. So I've taken the example of add cart lines. So once a customer click on add to cart, this pipeline get executed. And what happens in this is, like, I am going into marketing automation. I'm calling this type, which is called update visitor in automation plan. And what I'm doing is, I am updating a plan which is called abandoned cart. So I'm kind of updating the visitor information into the abandoned cart marketing plan. So what I'm assuming is this cart is going to be abandoned to start with. Okay. And now, but fortunately for us, this card wasn't abandoned. So you must have seen the marketing automation plan in the previous sessions. And if you haven't, then, we can talk about it offline afterwards. But, now I haven't, I added product to the cart, but I haven't abandoned it. So I've submitted the order. Now, once the order is being submitted, this is the pipeline that is going to get called. So commerce orders, submit visitor orders. So what I need to do is, like, I need to remove this visitor from the automation plan, because we have added him or her to the abandoned cart marketing automation plan. We are going to remove them from that plan. So I've removed that visitor from that plan using this configuration. And that is what is happening underneath. Again, but that order has been completed. So I have to follow up with this customer in another way. So what I'll do is, I will call the update visitor in automation plan, and I will put them into a new plan, which is called new order placed. So that's how they will get onto a different plan. So this is all happening underneath when we are kind of working through that plans or goals, etc. And this is where, with how it is being configured. So I'm sure, this must be very clear. And if you have any questions, again, keep on tapping on that box. So the out-of-box implementation is dynamically loaded based on the following configuration. So if you look at the configuration here, which is automation provider. So there are providers that have been provided by Sitecore out-of-box, which is called automation provider, and then the automation plan provider. So if you look at the implementation, I don't want to get into that implementation part, because it's going to be really complex and very time consuming. But these are the automation plans, providers that have been used by Sitecore to work through the marketing automation for now. But the good thing is, while you're waiting, while your customers are saying, okay, I don't need this, I want that. Obviously, that's more development effort, but you can always implement automation provider interface and patch the above configs to get your automation plan providers. Okay. Coming towards the reports, like, that's I'm not doing on the time. Let me check the time. It's 45. Okay, so reports, let's get under the hood of the reports. So reports, again, it's pretty much similar to Sitecore XP. Reports uses the data gathered by, Sitecore Commerce Connect. As I mentioned, showed you in the diagram that Commerce Connect has got, all the engagement artifacts within it. And that's why I said, don't skip that. So again, experience profile contains additional commerce tab, and there are 6 sub tabs. And again, I could have shown you that, but the idea is just to get underneath it rather than showing the facade. So the good thing is, these reports, as long as you're following that framework architecture, these reports are independent of the commerce system use, and they are generated using page events, goals, outcomes, triggers, and I'll show you, one of the examples of the reports. So yeah, again, this is just a simple example of the report. Okay, so with this, I'm coming to the end of. How are you going on doing the time? Just 46.
You have about 10 minutes.
Okay, I think I think I'm pretty much done. So what are the key takeaways from this? Is like Sitecore Commerce Connect is a let me because you've got 10 minutes. Let me show you something. Basically, this is automation. Yeah. So just just following up on that report part, I just want to kind of get you back to this config file, and just to kind of jog your memory that this is the event that is getting fired, and when the event that is being fired, that is being used in the generation of the report. So and I'm pretty much sure that if you guys are working on Sitecore XP, so I know you guys know how to extend reporting in Sitecore XP based on based on getting the data from the events, goals, etc. So yeah, just want to kind of bring you back to this slide so that you can relate to this. Okay, so coming on to the takeaways, again, Commerce Connect is a framework that brings, that enables this, and we should not forget that, and we should keep this in mind when you're doing your commerce implementation. Just to clarify, the Commerce Engine Connect is a concrete implementation of Commerce Connect, and then you can implement custom connectors using Commerce Connect. So you might name your connectors as, for example, Commerce. Instead of Commerce Engine Connect, you can have Commerce Hybris Connect, Commerce Magento Connect, or whatever connect that you want to create. But yeah, use the Commerce Connect, and never ever call the Commerce API directly. And I've been kind of reiterating it in most of my sessions, is like always use the Connect frameworks. So with this, I think I come to an end of this session, and I think you'll get 10 minutes of your life back. So if you want to reach out, you can reach out to me on Slack, Twitter, and my email address is on the screen as well if you want to reach out on the email. So I'm available to answer your questions now.
Yep, thanks, Saurabh. We have a few questions coming in. So the first question is, can you run XE independently of XP?
Yes, like I said, yes, but it's not recommended. So basically, it's a platform. It's a kind of .NET platform which was run as a .NET Core service. So it runs as a service, and it like when you're calling the Commerce APIs through Postman, for example. I'm not sure if you've worked on Commerce. So that means you are running the Commerce engine without the XP. So you can do that, but it is not recommended. But if your client has got a different requirement, they just want to work on commerce only, you can always talk to Sitecore to get that license. But yeah, you can in theory, and in practicality, yes, you can.
Okay, the next question is, why not call Commerce API directly? What are the risks? I don't know what specifically that's towards, but
Yeah, so the risk is, let me show you this. So risk is, for example, let me go back. I'm showing you the screen. So for example, if you look at this screen, get visitor order. So I am patching it into a configuration file. If I don't do that, this event, the last one which you're seeing on your screen, the trigger visitor viewed order details page event, will not get fired. So you will call it directly, you will get the data back, you will render the data on the front end, but these events are not going to get fired unless you're going to reinvent the wheel and you're going to implement everything again. I don't suggest that. I'm not going to suggest that. But if you, yeah, this event is not going to get triggered, and this is just one of the examples. And similarly, marketing automation, add cart lines, this automation plan, for example, is not going to work. So these are the two examples which I can give you now, which are not going to work, which is very high level. There are a lot of things which are not going to work from the marketing point of view. I hope that answers your question.
yep. Is there anyone else with questions while we have Saurabh here? If not, just making sure anyone else has questions or not. I haven't seen any new questions popping in. So if you need to reach out to Saurabh on social channels, Like he mentioned, we will have this deck available to you guys. So all the links and snippets you see in his presentation will be available in a few days. So barring any new questions, thank you so much, Saurabh.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak about Titled Commerce, and I'm looking forward to a lot more sessions. And I reiterate, if you are on this, if you're listening to this, donate. That's really important. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
All right. So we have 3,100 euros so far, which is awesome, which means people are starting to give. Like we mentioned, it's a very worthy cause. It's for the WHO, goes to the healthcare workers. Very crucial at this point in time. So any little bit helps. Doesn't have to be a huge amount, whatever you can afford. Please go ahead and donate. A lot of these small donations make up a huge amount. So please donate. Also, we do have a break room. So if you want to join there, talk to others who are watching this webinar, please go ahead and do so. If no one's speaking, jump in, speak to them, force them to talk to you. Again, donations are very, very much appreciated. Our next talk will be by Mark and Anastasia on if SXA versus JSS. I happened to get a peek of their presentation a little while ago, and it looks very interesting to me. At least the visuals did, anyway.
How did you get a peek?
They were
You
testing
were
it.
invited.
They were testing it while I was doing the speaker sessions. So, all right. So Cam wants me to look at this. So this is the Sitecore, the strategy MVP advisory panel. If you haven't looked into it, subscribe to the newsletter. Anything in specific you want me to show in here, Cam?
Just a link to the to sign up for the newsletter. I think it's probably the most important part for the general bunch of viewers. But there you go, the strategy newsletter. It's probably the most important part for most people. Obviously, for the MVPs themselves, get involved. Contribute. It's not just the MVP that can contribute. Anybody doing any strategy work, get in touch with SMAC. It's run by Alison Sainsbury. She did a talk earlier on today. So she is heading this up. It's lots of great information. The more we share, the more knowledgeable we all become. So it's not just an MVP thing. If you are involved in anything to do with strategy, please do share.
Awesome. All right. Do we have Mark? Are you on? I thought you were on, but oh yeah, I do see you. So can you?
I am on, yeah.
Yeah, can you show us your pretty face?
Oh, you want to put my webcam on?
Yeah, why not?
Yes,
You have
please.
to for the presentation.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah.
Let me select the right camera.
Oh, how many cameras do you have pointing to you, Mark?
Oh, you don't want to know.
See the birthday boy, or the belated birthday boy.
Oh,
Yeah,
happy
that was
birthday.
yesterday.
Oh, there you
Thank
go.
you.
You're all set.
I'm all set. I'm just waiting on my co-host who has the presentation.
You got to beware of those last-minute presentation changes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And then Mark, you guys will be switching back and forth, right?
Anastasia will share her desktop, and she'll give me access to her desktop so I can forward the slides.
Nice. All right, looking forward to it. A lot of people commented on this presentation, so no pressure. Mark.
Thank you. I'm just hoping that everything plays well because we do have some videos in there and some audio. We're kind of pushing the limit, I think, for a GoToWebinar, but it'll be interesting.
I mean, when we tested it, it was fine, right? So I'm hoping the audio will come through from her speaker.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? whenever you test, everything works, and then all of a sudden during the event you read comments from people who are having a lag and not seeing things. Yeah.
We have some birthday wishes for you from the SUGCON channel. So Zach and Tony just wished you happy birthday, and then immediately stabbed you in the back by voting for JSS to win over.
So so I've had to go with Team JSS here, Mark, because we don't have any SXA t-shirts. So this is,
You know, you're
Yeah,
already
next time-
losing.
yeah,
You're
Next
already
time I'm
losing.
seeing you, I'll get you
your-
t-shirts.
your marketing has not been so good, has it?
No,
Oh,
actually, well, we
tech-
just got a logo like a month ago or so.
Nice. Well, technically it was Adam, right, who got the t-shirts printed.
True.
Well, if you
But
have the
yeah,
logo, then we're
JSS.
expecting stickers.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, we're going all the way. Stickers, shirts. Just need an event to hand them out. That would be nice.
Are you in touch with Anastasia, Mark?
Yeah, let me.
She will come in soon, something like in 5 minutes.
She likes to make a grand entrance. All right. All right, now let me take a look at this. More. Well, we got some
Oh,
more.
she's telling me that she's an attendee in listen-only mode, so she probably
She has to
used the
use
organizer
the
link.
Yep, and she was, I think, the Sitecore account for her was made into an organizer. Unfortunately, we can't make an attendee a presenter, or shouldn't really.
There you go, Mark, just to make you feel a bit better.
I appreciate it, Cameras.
All right. And again, that link to the break room, link to the donate. If you have any questions, make sure you ask him using the question panel all throughout the presentation. That's your boss.
Oh.
Where is he? Mr.
I
Brinkman.
think he's enjoying some time off this week.
Oh, he was gonna go windsurfing, wasn't he?
Probably.
Must be nice. TikTok, Anastasia.
She's looking in her email.
I think you guys can log into the panel on GoToWebinar with your account, and you should be able to launch it. Let me see if I have.
Could you reuse my link, you think, or?
You shouldn't really. So let me just open up, and if she can't find it, then I can find it for her.
Because if she uses yours, we're going to have then 3 Mark finalists in the organizers list because there are already 2.
Oh, but then I'll win either way.
That's a way to make a mark.
Exactly. Stack the odds in your favor.
Yeah.
We've got time. We've got 10 minutes. So. What else has been happening, Mark? What else is going on in the world of the tech evangelists?
Oh, a lot of stuff which I probably can't talk about right now. It's not just the 5 of us, right?
Yeah. The SXA Style Guide site you did was super useful. I don't know if anyone,
Cool.
if people have seen that, but it's a really great reference for all of the components in out-of-the-box SXA, and applied some.
Yeah, I've been looking at it lately, and it's been quite a bit of help.
Nice, that's good to know. Yeah, I'm trying to use it as a starting point for well, future content like best practices and things like that.
Yeah, definitely a useful reference because there isn't anything at the moment, right? So it's just, and also I guess SXA is evolving fairly rapidly as well. There's new components and things being added all the time. But for people just starting out in SXA, it's difficult to know what's available out of the box, getting a good list of components, and just having a visual representation of what those things do and how those things interact. So and not just a visual representation, also being able to see those items in Sitecore and how they're built up and how easily they're built up. So
yeah, exactly.
definitely.
When I was trying to learn SXA like 2 years ago, we had an internal site which I could use. And then, yeah, as you're saying, you can look at all the settings in those items, so the presentation settings, and how can you make those components all look different, things like that. And it's actually helpful for us right now as well, as we are testing new versions of SXA using that style guide as well.
Yeah, we typically had these for our own websites, for the things we built. So it's good having that representation, as you say.
Yeah.
Yep, we got Anastasia.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hello.
you got us worried for a second.
Whew.
Why? What did we ever do to you?
Yeah, I heard you guys saying that I'd like to make an entrance. I heard you talking crap.
Ah, so you were listening in. So unfair. Let me make you a presenter already. We still have a couple of more minutes, so no rush.
Which one did you end up getting? The camera app?
She's got the snap camera.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get the other ones?
You could get your real cat to sit on your head like that.
She'd have to choose which one was going to sit on top of her head.
What is making the noise? Oh. How do I know which one is displaying screen?
So under the sharing panel, there's a big play button, and then there's a
I know. I'm saying, how do I know which one is the main screen?
so right.
It should highlight when you hover over whichever value.
You think it doesn't. Well, let's give it a shot.
It's a Mac, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That explains that.
What do you see? Perfect.
A desert.
We see a sand dune.
Yay. Do you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Oh. Now give keyboard and mouse to Mark. Mark, do you have controls?
Let me see. don't think so.
No, clear away. Right. You are checked as having controls. Oh, let me start it again. Was that you? Yeah.
Not sure. I'm trying to forward it, but yeah,
All right. So we're
there's a
good.
bit of a lag in
Stop
there,
it.
but
Stop it.
yeah,
Don't forward too much.
yeah, that's the lag probably.
Do you have two screens?
Yes, I have.
Do you see speaker notes on one of them? I'm just curious how it works.
No, but I have my copy of the presentation, so I can just open it up. It's fine.
What time is it? There's no
You
clock.
have
on it.
3 more minutes.
I do. I've been having some internet issues just now.
Oh, wow. Bad timing.
Very bad timing.
Yeah, it's good now. It's good for the moment.
Well, it's like Demo at a live conference. You always need to have a sacrifice to demo gods.
Oh yeah.
You didn't do. You should have done this. There you go. I'll pray for you both. We're almost good. 265 people online at the moment. No pressure.
And
Thanks.
increasing.
We'd be at it if every one of those donated.
Yeah. So if you guys can get out and donate to the COVID relief fund, it'll really help our frontline workers out and those who are struggling in this time of need. We're on 3,301 euros at the moment. So keep donating, guys. Let's just see how close we can get to our target of 10,000 euros by the end of the day.